Lifestyle inflation. The moment most people get a raise, they upgrade their life. A bigger apartment, a newer car, nicer dinners, better vacations, a closet that starts to look different. It feels like progress, and that is precisely what makes it dangerous. This is called lifestyle inflation. Your income increases by $500 a month, and your expenses quietly creep up by $480. Your net worth barely shifts. You feel richer. Your bank account tells a completely different story. But here's what almost nobody talks about. The problem is not that you spend more when you earn more. That's human. The problem is that the gap between earning and spending never widens. And wealth is not built by earning more. It's built by consistently keeping more of what you earn. Every time your income increases, protect the gap first. Let savings and investments absorb the raise before your lifestyle even noticed it happened. The people who build real wealth are not always the highest earners in the room. They are the ones who never let their spending keep pace with their income. Trap 2. The minimum payment illusion. Credit card companies don't offer you a minimum payment out of generosity. They offer it because minimum payments are one of the most profitable mechanisms ever invented in consumer finance. Here's a number that matters. You carry a $5,000 balance on a card charging 20% annual interest. You pay only the minimum each month, usually around $100 to $150. At that rate, you're looking at a decade to clear that balance, and you'll pay the bank nearly double what you originally spent. Think about that. You buy something for $5,000 and end up paying $10,000 for it. The minimum payment trap works because it makes debt feel manageable. You're paying something, so it feels like you're handling it. But interest compounds every single month, and the balance barely moves. It's designed to keep you in the system as long as possible. If you're carrying credit card debt, my friend, the minimum payment is not a plan. It's a slow financial bleed. Attack the highest interest balance first, pay as aggressively as your budget allows, and treat that debt like the financial emergency it actually is. Trap 3. The subscription drain. This one operates in the background, quietly. That's why it works so well. The average person today pays for more subscriptions than they actively use. Streaming platforms, fitness apps, cloud storage, software tools, meal kits, news sites, music services. Individually, each charge is $10 to $20. Easy to overlook, easy to forget. Collectively, they can pull $200 to $300 out of your account every month without triggering a single moment of conscious spending. That's not a small number when you do the math. $200 a month is $2,400 a year. That's a fully funded emergency account. That's a meaningful investment contribution. That's a real vacation paid in cash. Instead, it's scattered across services you barely open. Go through your last 2 months of bank statements this week. Highlight every recurring charge. Cancel anything you haven't actively used in the past 30 days. You'll find things on that list that genuinely surprise you. Trap 4. The new car trap. A brand new car loses between 15 and 25% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. By year 5, the average new vehicle has lost more than 60% of its original worth. That's not an investment. That's a guaranteed, immediate, and continuing loss. And yet, dealerships have made the purchase feel affordable. Stretch it over 6 or 7 years, keep the monthly payment low, and suddenly a $35,000 depreciating asset feels like something you can handle. But what you're actually handling is years of interest on something worth less every day you own it. A car is a tool. Its job is to move you from one place to another reliably. Buying a 3 to 5 year old used vehicle from a reputable source and driving it for 10 years is one of the simplest and most quietly powerful financial decisions available to an ordinary person. The money saved on depreciation and financing costs goes directly into your future instead of the dealership's revenue. Nobody gets wealthy by optimizing their car purchase, but plenty of people stay broke by making it worse than it needs to be. If this is already shifting how you see your finances, consider subscribing to Wealth Professor. This is exactly the kind of content we put out every week. No fluff, just the real stuff. Trap 5. Spending to match people who are also broke. Social comparison is one of the underestimated financial forces in everyday life. A colleague upgrades their phone, a neighbor parks something new in the driveway, a friend posts from a resort you couldn't afford with a credit card. Quietly, unconsciously, your sense of what's normal starts to shift. And when your sense of normal shifts, shifts, your spending follows. Here's what you almost never see behind those images. The Federal Reserve has consistently reported that a significant portion of American adults across all income levels would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense. These are not all low-income households. Many of them look perfectly comfortable from the outside. Many of them are performing a version of financial stability they don't actually have. When you spend money to match what other people appear to have, you're trading your actual future for the appearance of a present you can't honestly afford. The goal is not to look wealthy, my friend. The goal is to actually become it. Those are two very different paths, and they lead to two very different places. Trap 6. Zero emergency fund. This is not simply a savings gap. It is a trap with a compounding effect that follows you long after the original problem is past. When you have no emergency fund and something breaks, your car, your health, your job, you have exactly one option available to you: debt. You reach for a credit card or a personal loan at high interest, under pressure, without time to shop for better terms. Now you are not just dealing with the emergency, you are dealing with the emergency plus interest that follows you for months or years. A single unexpected expense can launch a debt cycle that takes years to unwind. And because the original crisis felt sudden and unavoidable, most people never connect it back to the absence of a buffer. Financial professionals consistently recommend keeping 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses in a liquid, accessible savings account. Not invested, not locked away, available. This is not optional financial padding. It is the single structural difference between a temporary setback and a long-term spiral. Start small if you have to. Even a $1,000 buffer materially changes how you respond to life when it surprises you. Trap 7. Treating your home as your entire wealth strategy. For decades, home ownership has been promoted as the cornerstone of financial success. And while owning a home carries real benefits, stability, forced savings, potential appreciation, treating your primary residence as your primary wealth-building strategy is a misunderstanding that leaves millions of people dangerously exposed. Your home produces no income while you live in it. It carries ongoing costs: mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs. Economist Robert Shiller, after studying over a century of U.S. housing data, found that when adjusted for inflation, residential real estate has historically appreciated at a modest rate. Certain markets in specific periods have dramatically outperformed. But the average home held by the average owner is not the wealth-generating machine it is often described as. The real trap is not buying a home. The trap is buying a home and nothing else. A single concentrated asset with no income production, high carrying costs, and liquidity you cannot access without selling or borrowing is not a wealth strategy. It is a bet. People who build genuine, lasting financial security typically hold diversified assets alongside their home, not instead of everything else. Trap 8. The fast money fantasy. The lottery is one of the clearest examples of mathematical hope sold as a financial product. Your odds of winning a major jackpot sit at roughly 1 in 292 million for Powerball. Yet Americans collectively spend over $100 billion annually on lottery tickets, with spending concentrated heavily among lower-income households, the very people who can least afford to lose it. The same psychology powers get-rich-quick schemes, high-risk penny stocks, crypto pump cycles, and overnight investment promises. The people selling the dream of fast money are almost always the ones profiting from the sale of the dream itself, not from the outcome they are promising you. Here's the part that doesn't get said enough. Wealth built quickly through luck is rare, fragile, and largely unrepeatable. Wealth built slowly through consistent and disciplined behavior is documented, proven, and available to anyone with patience and a plan. Investing regularly in diversified, low-cost index funds over a long period of time is not exciting content, but the math is not complicated and the track record is undeniable. Most money traps are specifically designed to destroy your patience. The fast money fantasy is the most effective one of all. Trap 9. Financial illiteracy as a default setting. This is the deepest trap on this list because it is the one that makes every single other trap possible. When you don't understand how compound interest works, debt becomes a weapon used against you. When you don't understand how marginal tax rates work, you pay more than you are legally required to. When you don't understand how investing works, you either avoid it entirely out of fear or you make emotional decisions driven by headlines that cost you significantly over time. Financial literacy is not taught in most schools. It's not a common topic in most households, and a significant portion of the financial services industry, from predatory lenders to high-fee investment products, profits directly from consumer confusion. The less you understand, the easier you are to exploit. That's not a conspiracy. It's just the structure of the market. And the fix, while not instant, is more accessible than most people realize. Reading one serious personal finance book per year, following credible financial education consistently, and building a working understanding of budgeting, investing, taxes, and debt produces measurable, lasting improvements in financial outcomes. Research consistently supports this. It's not about becoming an expert. It's about becoming hard to take advantage of. That's the real reason financial education matters, my friend. Not so you can sound smart at dinner, so no one can quietly pick your pocket while you're not looking. If you want to keep building this kind of awareness, the real mechanics of money without the noise, subscribe to Wealth Professor. This is what we do here every single week. So here's everything we covered, kept simple. Lifestyle inflation means your spending grows every time your income does, and the gap that builds wealth never opens up. Minimum payments on credit cards stretch small debts into years of compounding interest by design. Forgotten subscriptions pull hundreds of dollars from your account without triggering a single conscious decision. New cars are guaranteed depreciating assets, made worse by years of financing costs. Spending to match other people's appearance is trading your real future for someone else's performance of wealth. No emergency fund means every unexpected cost becomes a debt that follows you long after the original problem is gone. Treating your home as your only asset is a concentrated bet, not a strategy. Chasing fast money is almost always how people lose slow, steady, real money. Financial illiteracy is the root condition that makes every other trap on this list possible. The common thread running through all of these is not bad luck, it's lack of awareness. Once you can see a trap, you stop walking into it. The difference between the people who escape these traps and the people who stay inside them is rarely income. It is almost always awareness, and awareness, unlike a raise, is something you can choose today.